Subscribe to Breakthrough Gaming and get your chance to win a copy, limited copy, Last of Us 2, which I'm not in.
The hug.
Hello,
man.
There you go, buddy.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Keep watching.
I didn't think I'd be making this video, especially not 20 days ahead of the release of The Last of Us Part 2, but it turns out that the best-selling game of all time for PlayStation 4 exclusives, Marvel's Spider-Man, has already been beaten by The Last of Us Part 2 in terms of the sales and pre-orders ahead of the release of the game. Now, we still don't know how it's going to be in terms of long run, longevity, and how many people continue to buy the game even after the release, but in terms of pre-orders, The Last of Us Part 2 is already the #1 most pre-ordered game for PlayStation 4 exclusives. And this counts for the entire generation, so for the past 10 years of PlayStation 4 games that are exclusive to the PlayStation 4 console, The Last of Us Part 2 has already beaten the record. Last night I was looking at the articles and I saw that in parts of Europe, The Last of Us Part 2 had already beaten Marvel's Spider-Man, but I woke up about an hour ago and I noticed that worldwide now it is confirmed that The Last of Us Part 2 is the #1 most pre-ordered game of all time for PlayStation 4 exclusives. Now, we also have some new news that came in terms of the file size behind The Last of Us Part 2. There was a lot of speculation that the game would be as high as 102 gigabytes, and considering this game is only storyline, there's no multiplayer, we didn't really shrink it by that much, but the confirmation just came in that it's not 100 gigabytes, it's 80 gigabytes, as we can see in this picture right here. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 is only a storyline-based game as of now. Multiplayer has already been confirmed to be a completely separate experience, so if you were to combine and say that The Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer has half of the size that The Last of Us Part 2's single player has, it would still be on the top 5 biggest file size games of all time. Right now we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and that game is 175 gigabytes. So The Last of Us Part 2 is pretty up there, considering that nowadays Call of Duties are 70% multiplayer and 30% single player. You know, and with all this controversy and all the violence that was surrounding this game and all the gossiping, all the rumors, all the speculation that was thrown out into the air, rumors like Ellie dying, rumors like having to play as Abby over half the game, which have already been debunked, you know, it's safe to say that this game is inevitably going to be successful, and I said that in multiple of my videos, even though a lot of people hated me for it, because, I mean, I would be an idiot to deny that fact. The Last of Us Part 1 is, to this day, in my opinion, the most successful PlayStation game of all time, and here we have The Last of Us Part 2. You know, Naughty Dog did mess up in a lot of aspects, but just to think about the fact that we're about to journey into the same venture that put so many millions of people in 2013 on an emotional roller coaster, it's safe to say that The Last of Us Part 2, if it didn't get all this hate, then it wouldn't be the popular game that it is today, and vice versa. If it wasn't the popular game that it is today, then it would have not gotten this amount of immense hate. So, June 19th, 2020, ladies and gentlemen.